So,
Some introductions.
So your T-shirt would be.
look, I just appropriated.
Exactly.
This is what we're talking about.
Kansas Linux Fest.
I saw that at the Makerspace.
You
In
did?
a box or something.
Yeah.
Like snooping
A
around.
whole bunch of T-shirts.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
To get rid of, so.
Yeah, I was thinking of taking one, but I just.
Well, yeah. So last year, James Michael DuPont put together the Kansas Linux Fest, first one ever, inaugural Kansas Linux Fest. It happened in Lawrence, Kansas, and he invited speakers from Kansas and actually from around the country to come and talk about the open source software and open source movement, open source community, and Linux in general. And I did not have an opportunity to attend, but we have a couple people here that attend. Actually, you presented, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. And Joel, did you go?
I went.
Yeah, Joel went. So.
These guys went.
Yeah, we all went.
So half the people in this room went.
It was
now
awesome.
I'm the minority again. And but it was good. Yes, it was a.
It was.
Yeah.
I think all the feedback that I've heard about it was that it was a great event. Unfortunately, the gentleman who organized that event has moved to the East Coast, and he has sort of relinquished those organizational responsibilities to anybody who would take them up. Locally, Make ICT, Dev ICT, and WuLUG have agreed to partner up and bring the 2016 Kansas Linux Fest to Wichita. So we've had one meeting so far where we've discussed that. We've put together a mailing list so that we can have online discussions. And this is now officially the second administrative meeting for Kansas Linux Fest 2016.
Can you give us like a 30-second overview of what you talked about in the first meeting, so that we're all on the
I
same page?
can, yes. So the first meeting, actually, basically what we talked about in the first meeting was, A, can we do this? And we all agreed that yes, we can and we will. And then B, we talked pretty high level about where should we do it and who we should invite. We've talked about potentially doing it here on campus, maybe renting out convention space in one of the local hotels. We talked about Century 2, although that was kind of ruled out pretty early, I think. And then we had some good discussion about who we would invite for speakers. Obviously, we're going to invite everybody who attended and spoke at last year's Kansas Linux Fest. So yeah, so we talked about venues, we talked about speakers, we talked about sponsorships, and we talked about dates. Pretty high-level discussions, though, and really what we decided at that first meeting is our highest priority is putting a website together so that we can actually start recruiting speakers and sponsors for this, and that's kind of where we're at today.
Thank you.
Any questions so far? All right, I'm going to stop talking for the rest of the meeting and let someone else take over.
Okay, yeah, so we do have a website. It is up and running. It's running on quite a few domains right now. We have kansaslinuxfest.org, com, info, US, and net. So we have access to quite a few of them, and they all are functional right now, except US still points to the old domain.
Are they all pointing to the same?
They are all pointing to this website, except .us. 2016.kansaslinuxfest.us does point to this. So we roughly discussed these pages already. Yeah, what was the question?
We kept that as the main site.
Okay.
We can technically do anything we want right now. If you guys don't want to use .us, we don't have to. If you really like .org, I actually already have email already set up on it too. So
Does anybody not like .org? I like .org better than
Okay.
.org is good.
personally.
All in favor of .org over .us. And all right. We're good.
So that's fine. Like I said, email is already to go on .org. I kind of figured we might go that route anyways, so I got prepared for it. We have.
I'm going to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to volunteer to take minutes for this?
Anyway, so yeah, the contact information is all valid. Every email on there works. The mailing list actually needs to be updated to .org now. That takes a little bit more work on the back end. But we do have a news mailing list, so if we do want to start sending out an informational newsletter to subscribers, public subscribers, we can do that from there.
Do they have a way to subscribe from here?
Yeah, right there. To subscribe to our mailing list, just send an email to news-subscribe.
Awesome.
Who did these email addresses point to today?
Anyone that wants to be forwarded to, basically. Right now, it's Seth and I and Chase are on info, and Chase and I are on all the others right now. But if anyone else wants to be forwarded, just let me know, and I'll put them on all.
If you're part of the admin group, you send out an email asking
Yeah.
people if they're interested.
Yeah,
Didn't know if
just
there were
reply.
certain people that we're going to try to handle certain sponsor aspects yet, or if we've even got that.
We hadn't gotten that far. Really, I just want to get an idea of whoever just wants to be in on it right now. And then as we kind of get some more emails in, we can delegate from there.
Yeah, I think it would be great if at some point, maybe tonight, if we could appoint eight point person for each
one.
or at least the speakers and sponsors of this.
Yeah. But
I'll take speakers.
There we go.
okay. So yeah, Chase is already on that one. So
Yeah.
you gotta
Well, I
get-
told them to put me on all of them just because I didn't want there to accidentally be an email that.
Bible.
we got missed.
Yeah, that got missed.
And then I have just basic stuff. I don't know what we're gonna do yet for like sponsorship packages. And obviously we don't have any list of speakers yet, so those aren't really filled in on the website yet. As we get more stuff in here, we're gonna have to add those in.
From hearing from both Nathan and Seth, they really need somebody that's willing to put in content.
Yeah.
They got the admin side and the hosting and all that figured out. They need somebody to make it not plain.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of the stuff we just don't know yet, but we do need someone to fill out. At least the homepage would be nice to have a paragraph or two about what we're doing.
Do we have anyone who's a web site designer? Because that's kind of shifting from the
Yeah.
computer science
I
world
know.
into the...
And it does take.
We need to find a journalist that's
Yeah,
interested.
and it does take HTML. So as long as anyone can program an HTML program, if they can format a page, it will work. Should work fine. Yeah.
So feel out, try to find somebody to help.
What is your intent that you're gonna give somebody access to this to edit the pages?
Yep.
You're gonna have them.
I'm gonna have.
No,
a
they
copy
can log in and
with a
edit.
whole
Just
bunch
fine.
of
It's
web
super. It's
developers.
Ghost.
So I can find something.
It's super easy.
Probably
I can show you
wasn't
the
sure.
interface.
I was just curious.
Yeah, I can show you the interface here. It's really nice. It's super easy. to
But
edit.
you will probably
But you
find
saw
somebody.
how fast I was able to
If you
edit
could
that.
feel out in that crowd, please.
Emails. But yeah, otherwise the website is online and emails are active and working. So that part is pretty much done. We're ready to receive people on it.
So that brings us to our next point, because we kind of agreed that until the website was at least up and there was something and the mailing list was going, we couldn't really reach out too much to start getting speakers. Now we got that. Sure, we got to fill it in a little bit, but it's there and it's working. So Dom, do you feel that it's time to like start reaching out to speakers?
What does the speakers page look like?
No, it's in.
You can stick me on there if you want. I'm happy to do one or two.
Awesome.
I can talk about USRPs. I'd love to.
What specifically?
Well, with Linux using GNU Radio and OpenBTS
That'd
and
be
stuff like
awesome.
that.
So let's go ahead and get both of them on this
What's your
page.
name?
So that when we
Nicholas Scalo,
send this page to
I'll just put
people, they'll
Nicholas.
see that there's already
Without an
people
H.
signed up.
Okay.
to make it more
That's-
complicated.
I like that. You guys will be your initial fillers.
And when is this again?
So maybe we should do
I already
that
signed
before
up.
the speakers.
Oh,
No, you're committed.
we need to
Doesn't
set.
matter. You're committed.
We need to set a
Oh,
date.
yeah.
Yeah.
Were there was? Did we look around? Was it Seth or you that said they would look around? Somebody said they were going to look around and see if there's anything else going on in Wichita.
Seth was supposed to
I
do
didn't
that.
hear that.
Okay.
I was supposed to do it.
We were thinking May, like mid to late May, or mid-May.
After school was it real?
Yeah.
I think that would make it...
After school, but not conflicting with as much stuff in Wichita as possible.
Probably
Around Kansas. Really.
So
maybe a week or two after finals week at WSU.
Can you look up finals week real quick?
When's Riverfest?
That's a good
I was wondering that as well.
I think
That's right.
later.
I feel like it's later.
Should
Yeah.
we schedule to avoid or to coincide?
That's interesting.
And if we want to coincide, we can probably, I have contacts at Wichita festivals that would probably be interested in helping support this endeavor, if we wanted to coincide. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Maybe not.
So is this
I
only
don't know.
not unlike getting married where you think you
June
pick some
3rd
dates,
through
but then you
June
also have to
12th.
pick a venue and you have to make the venue and the dates match?
It's a lot like that.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about either of those things.
June
Okay,
3rd.
well, I've been through it once.
June
and it was
3rd.
good.
Oh, yeah.
First week of June.
First week in June is Riverfest.
Yeah.
That's pretty close to
You
the date
know.
we're talking.
I mean, it's a gamble, but after we wrap up each day, it would be good if we had something
I think it'll be
to
Wednesday.
point people to after we wrap up at 6. I think the River Fest would be kind of
Well,
nice, because it would
so-
keep people's interest in.
I think it's nice, but also I wonder because I know that at things like this, usually the people that are there throughout the day, you get your groups of friends, people that are interested in similar things, and then at the end of the day, y'all go to the bar, go out to eat.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You kind of make your own group afterwards, usually.
Okay.
So I don't even know if people would really be that interested in Riverfest.
Well, people watching.
Hmm?
The people watching, put that as a perk.
That's true.
I've got some dates for you here.
Okay.
WSU final exams ends May 13th of spring 2016, and Wichita Riverfest will be June 3rd. So you've got plenty of time during that.
My vote is before Riverfest, but
Me too.
so that gives us a couple weekends in May. As
May
possibilities.
May 13th is a Friday, so you could do,
What's the weekend after that?
I was going to say you could do the weekend
21st. Or the
Yeah,
Saturday.
we probably don't want to do it Memorial Day weekend.
And the other thing we could do, because if you noticed with the Lawrence one, it was Saturday morning through to Saturday evening, and then because the library didn't open until Sunday lunchtime, they did Sunday afternoons. And it's probably much harder, I have to leave early, a lot of people would have to leave us early if we did Sunday.
I think we talked about just doing Saturday.
Well, what might be nice is if we did a Friday Saturday.
We talked
Maybe.
about that. I brought that up, and most of the
Friday-
group didn't like it. I was the only
Friday,
one
you know,
that
a
did.
Friday kind of lunchtime, and then Saturday, and then if you really wanted to, you could do the Sunday morning by lunchtime.
we were slightly worried about the
I
cost.
brought that up, and I was the only one.
The cost of the second day versus how many people would actually be there for something that doesn't have substantial content to it.
What we did think, though, I know Dom mentioned maybe doing like a meet and greet with the speakers and
Yeah.
admin stuff Friday night.
Like an opening, sort of welcoming reception for our
That would be nice.
speakers.
Speakers and maybe sponsors. Or so.
Yeah, speakers and sponsors.
Yeah.
It's also me.
And then just all day Saturday.
A one-day
Keep
event,
it simple.
you really want the speakers to go.
Well, I guess what we can do, well,
To fit the number of speakers in,
I think we will
Saturday-
easily be able to get quality speakers.
yeah.
I really
Saturday's
have.
gonna finish.
to fill 2 days.
Yeah, I really have a good feeling that
And they did.
if we ask around, we'll be able to get good speakers.
And this is kind of a follow-on with this, and we haven't got to venues yet, and I was going to just discuss WSU. But one of the things that someone mentioned to me is that WSU is really big into the innovation right now. Linux and the Linux Festival is a great push for innovation in Wichita. But if we want to get funding, we may want to convert it into doing a combined, like a hybrid, community-based tutorials and talks and lectures like the last one was, mixed in with proper heavy research, computing research, where we have students who can present papers, we have stuff that actually,
That was one thing that actually surprised me about the first Kansas Linux Fest. There was no paper at all.
there was no
And that, I was really
academic
surprised by that.
research based on. And if you want to get money from somewhere like WSU, we're probably going to have to want to at least make it a hybrid thing.
I don't think it needs to be like a conference where people just talk about the papers either, but I think there's definitely some papers that would be nice.
Yeah, that would be cool.
If you wanted to get that finance, I might want to go there.
I think that's a good idea regardless of
Yeah.
funding.
There also means you could probably
Yeah.
get Wichita State or even KSU or KU people coming down to present on.
Do we know what the KU story about this year was?
But the one-
What the KU story was this year? I thought they were all on board and then
Oh, I
They
think
graduated,
I
a
can't
lot
see
of people
people.
that they contacted, their only contact with KU was a student that had graduated.
oh, I see.
So they couldn't find that person again.
Interesting.
So what happens when you graduate?
Just poop into smoke. All right. So What dates are open in the end of May? Not Memorial Weekend.
What is Memorial?
29.
29? That's the last day of May?
Well, you've got the 13th is that final Friday, so you would have 13th, 14th, 15th, or 20th, 21st, 22nd,
Yeah.
which would be Friday through Sunday.
So there we go.
And then Memorial Day, you said is
Let
29th.
me look it up real quick. I don't know.
It's gotta be somewhere around there.
Oh,
It always
you're
falls
right.
on
I'm
my
on the
birthday.
wrong thing. It jumped back to November. I'm sorry. Actually, it doesn't change it much. 20th,
25th of
21st,
May.
26th. No, it's the same dates, don't you?
Alright. One more.
So these are our two options, essentially?
Okay.
That, if we want May.
1 second. This is for 2020.
Do you think we should do it at the end of finals?
No. But I'm for no.
Well, but I feel like
I'm gonna be drunk. That's what I'm saying. I may not even show up. No, I'm kidding. I'll be there, but if it's after finals, I would prefer to have a weekend.
well, I was gonna say like maybe it would be better because students are still here that weekend, maybe.
Most
they
people
might
in
decide to
Wichita
stay.
aren't
Yeah.
in Wichita.
Yeah, it's not like Lawrence.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's true.
okay.
I mean, they kind of have it,
Never
not
mind.
like other colleges.
Yeah, there's
Well,
all things.
I went to KU. It was always like that.
Yeah.
Last year's Linux Festival seemed to have a very diverse group of people. It wasn't all students. There were a lot of
There was a lot
of
people
people
there.
there.
So I guess in that respect, those people don't care necessarily, I think, whether it's finals week or not. Either way.
No, absolutely.
So.
And the only reason
they
why-
probably don't even know.
So the only reason why I'm suggesting finals week is when we get down to venues,
This is June.
if we're pushing for doing it at
May.
Wichita State
Okay,
University,
okay.
it's going to be a lot easier to find space in rooms
we have it.
when the students aren't in session. We probably will have a very hard time getting in session. So we need to either be spring break or after.
I'm concerned that there's not enough time between now and spring break to have a successful festival. I think you really have to look into that.
Yeah, you don't want to
Yeah.
I
push.
think so too.
You don't want to
I think
push
we're
too
already crunched
far.
on time.
You don't want to push
For
too
me.
far, otherwise we get into the summer semester.
Yeah. Do we know when the summer semester starts?
May 23rd.
Is when the summer starts?
Yeah.
Ah.
So that's perfect. May 20.
Oh, no, I apologise. That's pre-session. May 23rd is pre-session, so there will be classes, but there won't be many classes. The 8-week term for the summer is June 6th.
June 6th?
Yeah, that's the main summer kickoff.
Yeah, that's Riverfest too.
And it's also when the fest is. So yeah, that 20th through 22nd actually seems really good because that's the weekend before pre-session starts.
I can't like it.
I like it.
I like it.
Right. May 2022?
Okay.
Ish.
That's our target date.
Yeah.
Our target week is then we can find a venue that will work with that.
Right. And
Should
hopefully
we pick a
speakers.
backup?
Backup date.
Yeah, should we go ahead and decide that now?
That's a good idea. What was the other date?
May 13th.
Maybe
That weekend.
that would be the logical one. Yeah.
Other than that, we'd have to go into June, and we're in the summer semester. Or Riverfest.
Yeah, I think we'll go for first one and we'll go back.
Or we hold off until August before,
13th,
Yeah, or we push it way back.
before kids are.
I don't like that. I'd rather get
Season
another.
of sweat, no thank you.
Okay, so we got our preferred date and our backup date. Venues. So, here's kind of my report on venues. WSU is an option. We have to go through the channels and stuff. It's not. But it's there and it's available and it has everything we need.
And just to further that, I spoke to my boss, Dr. John Watkins, who is the chair of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. He is all for it. He is also willing for EECS to be an official host, so that we would get backing from them. He
We already
suggested,
got our first sponsor.
well, not so much money, but more kind of official sponsorship for whatever we want to push for.
We're all about dough.
I'm not sure what that means at the day.
Well,
How
in
do you
ter-
sponsor without money?
Well, in terms of hosting rather than sponsorship.
So yeah, if the department would give us, would provide the venue.
Right.
Okay.
That would
And would link up with WuLUG, Make ICT, and Dev ICT, and we would create an official connection there.
What was that? EE.
ECS is Electrical Engineering Computer Science Department of Wichita State University.
A donated venue is actually pretty.
John has
That's a big
suggested
budget.
two options, and Keenan just brought up a third. Here would be good, actually in Jabara Hall, because we can use the downstairs lecture halls for the big keynote speeches, and then we can do breakout rooms into classrooms, and we have our lab here and an overflow lab here. So we could even have hands-on
Yes.
exercises throughout the conference in here whenever people don't want to go to a sit-down.
I think Jabara Hall sounds great.
And there's already infrastructure there.
There's already stuff
It's
there.
on the weekend.
It's on a weekend, and I'm not sure we're going to have
In
more
between
crowds than
semesters.
normal every day here.
Sorry?
Parking on a weekend?
I'm not sure. I'm sure we could figure out.
Parking laws are not,
They don't.
parking rules are not enforced on
Yes.
weekends.
The
After
only,
5 and weekends is open parking.
the only issue with Jabara
Six.
is that the largest
Fine.
room.
Yeah, in
Signs
certain
The
laws.
signs say six,
Yeah,
but
can we talk
They
about-
changed it last.
I'm not as good at that.
I've seen a lot of tickets do that.
Yeah.
So what kind of rooms
Yeah,
besides?
the only issue with this is that the largest room, I think, seats about 130 or 160 downstairs.
There's one of those rooms, or there's two?
I think there's two of them.
127, 128. And there's
So-
also some small ones, like 104.
And they're also, if we wanted to do like opening and closing keynote speeches, and we get more than 100 and something people, we're going to need to either break out into two rooms and have a video link, or John has offered that we could talk higher up the scale and maybe go into the RSC, which
Ballroom.
has bigger rooms, like the ballroom.
Yeah, you'd
I
have to
know
use
that
the
those are
ballroom.
scheduled pretty far out sometimes.
Sometimes.
Especially in summer. They have a lot of conventions
But
coming in.
we've done the Czech conference there beginning of last summer, so it's definitely doable.
Would we?
And Keenan suggested over at Metroplex, which of course has a theatre and all sorts of things. But you can look into that as well.
So given all of these, which one would we kind of prefer? If
Okay,
and
so
what are-
so
are
to
there any
speak
other
to
options?
speak some non-WSU
I was
options.
going to say, let's move on to those first.
I haven't officially contacted anybody because I didn't know what our budget or what our official dates were, and I didn't want them to hammer me. And so, but I did browse as hard as I could without giving any real information away. And from what I found, if we were to go for like a hotel or something like that, the benefits there would be for out-of-town people, they can stay at the conference basically. That's a huge benefit. I don't know how big we're going to be in the first year or how big we're going to grow. At some point, when you hit a certain threshold, it almost has to be that way. I don't think we're there yet. I think we have pretty good flexibility. I mean, it's looking like any of the main hotels around Wichita that are going to house more than 50 people in a room, they're going to want $500 for that room per day. And then for the smaller rooms, they're going to want $200 to $300. If you use more rooms, they cut you more of a break. And if I gave them real information, they probably would cut a break. But being the cold guy on the phone that isn't willing to give information, that's the numbers they threw out there. They seem to be about the average. So $600 for a big room, $200 to $300 for a small room.
Do we currently have money?
No.
No money. We have zero money.
We haven't sought any money yet, so zero money.
Our
assets
basic.
include a bunch of t-shirts.
And a website.
Did you push out the public library to see if they...
I have not. That's
We talked about the library. I don't think we really liked it, but I guess it.
I don't think we would fit at the library.
yeah.
Because Lawrence, they said we wouldn't do it again. Well, they wouldn't do it.
At the library.
At
The library would do it again.
Library would not.
I feel like they should have done it on KU campus. That
Well,
would
that's
be
what
good.
they were originally intending, but then they found out that the computer science department was shut down during their spring break, and they couldn't get in there, and they didn't have as big a link up with the faculty or...
Yeah.
But yeah, the public library felt that it was too... What do they say?
We were too loud.
Too loud
We were
and-
too loud. There was too much distraction for the patrons. I think that was mostly because of the breakout rooms that were in the basement that were smaller.
Yeah, I
Was it
can
the
see
Yeah.
basement?
Yeah.
Because it drug a pretty decent crowd all throughout the whole library, going back and forth constantly.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I think it probably was quite.
Had it all been
distraction.
on one corner of the library, I bet it would not have been that big of a deal.
Just in that one room.
So, other venues are definitely I mean, it's a big deal that WSU is willing to front room and space
And it's not
resources.
official yet, but
Right.
my boss says he's interested.
Right.
We haven't taken it any
So-
further than that.
And with WSU, you gotta look at, if people are gonna be staying at the hotels, how are they gonna get here?
Right.
If you're hosting people.
And like, it was awesome at Lawrence that we were kind of downtown, but when it was time for lunch, we all just walked 2 blocks and.
Yeah,
that
it's not really
that's
that here.
harder here, it's not impossible, but it's.
Well, there's
not
there's
as easy.
hotels downtown,
I-
and those are kind of the ones I hit, because I figured if we wanted to be in a hotel, we're not big enough for the big ones, and we would want it downtown somewhere
The thing
where
we-
we could just walk.
The thing we haven't talked about, but what WSU could offer, is we now have shopper hall dining, which is you pay $8 and eat as much as you want.
It's true. There's
On
pretty
campus.
good food on
And we might, I haven't stretched out any feelers on this, but we might be able to ask them whether they could do a conference rate of $5 a head or something, and you go in there and you have lunch on campus, and whether they would stay open for lunches during the weekend. But after spring break, I don't know, but that would be something we could look into.
The professor who's going to start the security club,
Dr. Jeffrey Waller.
Jedley Waller. Sorry, it's been a while since I've said the names. Has anybody run, hosting at Kansas Linux Fest here to him?
He knows about
Yeah,
it.
Okay.
We haven't, but he's a
Because
part
I'm,
of the club.
yeah,
My boss.
and I'm thinking if they want to, it would be kind of good to use that avenue since, in advance, since there's going to be a security conference here next, September? There was talk of possibly having a security conference here next fall. Dr. Jedley Waller was talking about it, and then having
There's a
McCall's.
student running a competition in the fall sometime. I don't know.
I don't know if there's a big conference in-
But no conference style. But when we get the security group meeting next fall, there will be lectures and things.
So it's not till next fall, I was guessing.
Well, it probably will be next semester.
Okay.
Yeah,
The next, oh, yeah.
it's fall semester, not literally the fall, but the fall
Wasn't
semester.
that small?
Sorry. He's interested. I know at least one of his students is interested in being a speaker. They have to be careful what they speak about because they don't want to talk about things that aren't published. But they have plenty of things that are published that they want to speak about too.
So I'm one person, and I have one opinion. And my opinion is that if WSU steps up and says, we would let you come and do your festival here for no cost, then in our first year of doing this.
It seems like a no-brainer.
It seems like.
Yeah, that
it
would
seems like the right
definitely be a
decision,
no-brainer.
in my opinion.
Why are you paying?
That's thousands of
500.
dollars.
If we
Day
grow and
for
have funding, it
conference.
might be a different
Now,
story later
next
on.
year, after we have an idea of what interest is, if we're still running it in 2017, then we say, okay, we knew that this many people came and we were able to raise this much in sponsorship, and yeah, we can move it somewhere else. Thank you, WSU, for helping us on our first year handling it. But gosh, I mean, if we're talking about where we might have all these different speakers, well, suddenly we don't need 2 rooms, we need like 5.
Yeah.
We just open another classroom and
That-
then we have 5 sessions at
To
once.
me, that's the beauty of here. It's
Right.
easy to expand speakers if you
Then we have a really
if
good
you
idea.
want to.
We have the flexibility and.
It's flexible.
Exactly.
I need-
I'm not opposed to hotels or anything like that, but in our first year, if we can make WSU work, that seems like the right call.
Especially if you get free access to the ballroom, because that's an expensive space, and it's an upscale space that you're not.
I'm
I mean,
afraid
the
we may
next
not be
closest
early
thing might be at
enough.
the Hyatt, but you're gonna pay way more there.
Yeah.
If you
the
can get
Hyatt
it
is
free,
crazy expensive.
it's a no-brainer.
But
I don't
we're-
know if we have, I think we're too late maybe. I mean, I haven't asked, but I know that they booked the ballroom. It's pretty well booked.
You know what, I can check.
A lot.
And that's the only big limitation with this, is we are going to be limited to a room size of 130 or 160 or
You're gonna run into
Set up a
similar.
camera and
I don't-
straight all the other room.
Do you guys remember how many people were at the last one? It was probably about a little
I think
over
it's 120.
120.
I thought it was in the 200.
Wow.
I feel like it was, I thought that room,
I didn't
I
even
thought that room
notice
held a
that.
couple hundred people.
Do you think there was a couple hundred people in it?
I thought
I don't think it was ever full.
It was full at the end.
And it's not the end of the world. We could always probably
Maybe it was
do
about
a video
120 people
thing
versus
in the second room.
Maybe.
Right.
I'm sure we
Right.
Which we can talk about that too.
We need to draw the interest since it hasn't been hosted here before, and this is only the second one. Probably a write-up about Jabera Hall and what it has to offer. I mean, on the third floor, we have a supercomputer.
And that's something that I think, Tom, did you bring this up earlier? That John Matro might be willing to do a tour up to look at the high performance computing cluster upstairs on the third floor, halfway
That'd be
through the
cool.
conference. And it's just a bunch of servers.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm just thinking if you're gonna draw people who wanna come, we should at least draw back the curtain a little bit and give them a little bit of taste of what's here, because a lot of people probably don't know.
Absolutely.
And if we waited a year, we could probably have hosted a new experiential, was it engineering space, but we'd have to wait a year.
Maybe next year.
Because that's really good.
So this may be premature, but does anybody have a problem with pursuing the WSU thought?
I don't. I think it's.
Does
I think for
everybody
especially.
collectively, do we think that that's the right decision?
Yep.
I think it's right. I think we'll have to look into transportation though.
Okay.
How
Yeah.
people.
The honest thing is, I don't think really there's going to be anybody that flies in, except for maybe a few random people.
No, maybe not flying.
But
But
so most people are going to have vehicles.
that's true. Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking most of the people that don't live in Wichita that will be here will probably be Lawrence, Kansas City,
And the other thing is,
Tampa, Topeka,
could we,
Omaha.
as part of the volunteer service, not that I can volunteer myself to do this, because I don't have a car, but as part of the volunteer service, could we have a couple of volunteers who are willing to be a taxi
Shuttle
service from
Shuttle.
one hotel or another, back and forth at the beginning and end of each day?
On the mailing lists, what were the mailing lists?
We have news right now. That's it.
We have news.
We can make any of them.
No, I mean the addresses to mail
Speakers,
into.
sponsors, info, and admin.
You always need a volunteer.
I know. I wonder if we should do a volunteer. If we should say if you are interested in volunteering,
Yep.
mail the admin list
We're
or
going to need ushers. we're gonna
separate list sounds better even.
We
Actually,
can use volunteers.
I would do that. If you're interested in volunteering, please send your
What are you mad
a short
about?
resume to.
And don't forget to sign off your first form.
Okay, so
Let
who
me blood
is,
above your door and give us your social security card.
who is going to approach WSU? Is that something, Ben, you are comfortable doing?
I've
Is-
already spoken to John about it. So I'm
And so then are we saying, let's ask Ben to pursue WSU for this date?
Yes, Ben, if you're cool with that, then
I'm writing something else right now.
and let me know what you need.
it would make sense if it came from someone internal to this company.
Yep.
So I'm talking to John about either Jabara Hall or possibly RFC for the 20th to the 22nd of May. Is that correct?
Sounds like it.
And whether we use all of those dates or not.
Yeah, and the backup date was the 13th.
Back up there.
And sounds like we're thinking Saturday for sure. And if we can fill Sunday or Friday, do
I
we?
think once we start collecting speakers, then we quickly, I think, figure out, I mean, if we can get, if there's enough buzz initially that we get a full speaker slot, then I think we consider opening the second day.
Okay.
That's
I
my,
gotta play it by ear.
But,
Yeah.
but probably only do the morning and have everyone.
Yeah, if we go Sunday for sure, I say morning only.
Yeah.
Give everybody half a day to
People
go
gotta
home.
get back. Yeah.
but I think we should plan on that and try to fill this Sunday. Don't you? Yes?
Well, you don't want to have it too late in the day.
No, I mean, start out with the schedule and the plan that we plan on that weekend, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like if we can get some of I don't remember what his name was.
Jeff.
If he's available to do that, if we can do the tour thing, then those start filling slots, and then we get other speakers from other places. I think you're right, I don't think we'll have concern about finding
Well,
speakers.
The other beauty of having it here is it'll be easy to expand how much slots we have at a time, which we don't necessarily want to have too many, but
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
but
because
we're flexible.
that becomes like, well, last time you were like, do I want to go to this meeting or this meeting? They were
Yeah.
both maybe good,
Yeah.
but you were torn between which ones were scheduled.
Which, any good conference, that's gonna happen
It
anyway.
is,
but-
you just want to limit that as much as possible.
Yep.
I
Cool.
think maybe if we're planning kind of that stuff, I feel like we should have like a beginning one in that time slot, like a beginner's Linux little conference, and then the advanced stuff, you know, maybe somebody that wants to present a project that they did. You know what I'm saying?
To balance out
So,
what's.
so are we,
Yeah.
just to confirm, are we moving from venue to topic and speakers now?
Yeah,
More or less.
I think we got venue hashed out.
So, we would want the ballroom, it sounded like we would want the ballroom for maybe an opening and closing, or maybe just an opening.
I think we have a keynote there.
Downstairs, you know those lecture rooms down the first floor. We don't
So,
really do that.
on Saturday, May 21st, the ballroom is reserved for upward bound method size,
For the 20th and 21st?
just for the 21st. For the 20th, the WSU Roman team is having their spring banquet in the evening.
What about the 13th weekend? Is it taken on that weekend as well?
That's fine. yeah.
Take it easy.
See you later, guys.
See ya.
I'll
Thank
probably
you.
see you around at some point.
Yeah, on the 14th, Matt Brewer is getting married apparently.
We can all get
Awesome.
Crash the
Crashes wedding.
Hey guys, we need to borrow your phone.
Excuse us, we're just going to talk about computers and things.
Alright, so ballroom's out.
We've already taken
Anyway.
punch here.
Ballroom's out anyway, it sounds like.
But
Which
if
doesn't
we're looking at 100 people, 150 people anyway.
I think we're good. Even if we go up to 200, we're
If we
good.
go to 200 and split it, if we have it split into 2 rooms, I don't think that's the worst.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
Because it'll only be one, maybe 2 sessions where everybody's together.
Right.
The beginning and the end.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The ballroom is
Or if it's a
on
popular
the
topic.
third floor.
Mhm.
Okay. Because there's also the second floor. Have you ever done the education fair, the technology fair? Actually, yeah, you have, because you were doing a stand.
Like the
So
whole
you
second
could
floor.
do that whole second floor like the other alternative, like we do.
Yeah, it's not a great speaking venue though.
Yeah, it's not a, because it's all broken apart.
It's all small rooms. Jabara probably is a better place, but
We'll
maybe
have
we can
to
do a, if you want to, maybe we could set up another meeting and we could do a recce and walk round those rooms, not tonight, but another time. So we'll meet here.
See what we got.
We can look round the different rooms and see what the sizes are and
That'd be good.
Does it say anything about the Metroplex?
We hadn't talked about the Metroplex. So that,
If the keynote is Metroplex, they got tons of room over there.
they have, but it's not, the trouble with Metroplex is it's not ECS related.
Right.
I don't know how you book it out because it's all
How to get the
theatre
sponsorship
based
for
or
it.
what have you.
First floor though,
Music.
those rooms are under the control of the registrar's office.
Oh, yeah.
They're not under the control of the EDCS.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
EDCS would have to
We'd have
request.
to request it.
Right.
What if we did the keynote in the SAC or the CAC, and then just had people?
that's the thought.
That
That's
space
the
will hold a couple hundred, like 400 or 500 people.
Yeah, the
I'm
CAC
very
will hold
intimately
tons of
familiar with that space.
We'd have to book it out.
It's a nice theater.
Do you know if Perfect charges?
Can
Perfect
you
probably charges.
For us. Let me just use this technology for what?
For using the venue.
If we think
Because
we'll
turning
need-
on lights and.
We got,
I think we can pursue that. I'm
You
pretty
think-
familiar.
Sounds like we need to talk to
You
people.
wanna chat to Kerry and David?
Yeah.
Since you know, and I know
Is
Kerry
that
and
space
David,
available? Do we know if that space is registered?
I think he's looking up right now.
what?
CRC.
CAC.
I can ask him as well. I mean.
Something, I don't know. Can't remember.
CAC Theater is wide open on the 21st of May, 2016. Right for reservations.
The what?
Activity center.
What's the first C? College activity center?
Campus.
Campus.
Campus
activity.
So maybe you could just put a phantom,
We can look into that, Joel.
reservation,
Or in the
admin meeting or something.
I'll talk to
Although I don't
Kerry.
think that even students can reserve the CAC.
WC thing. But
Yeah.
I'm sure gonna try.
But if it's
Well,
only paid for,
dance
that's a big
gets
deal.
charged to use for the concert. So I'm assuming that we would get charged to use their venues.
I'll email somebody I know. I may not get all the right answers, but
Even if the
More
cost,
than what we got now.
it'll
As long as you
probably
don't
be more
get
reasonable.
Yeah.
So speakers, I don't have a whole lot to say about speakers right now because
What's the best way to outreach?
we haven't really touched out to anybody.
Yeah, what's the best method of networking on that?
I know the last time we all kind of jotted down some different people we were going to try to contact.
Yeah, there's a whole list we contacted now.
can I interject? At last year's Kansas Linux Festival, they had a couple of professional speakers that I believe were paid to come in.
Mhm.
Was that
there was a
Twitter?
guy from Twitter, and there was a
That's
Mike,
good.
Mike's
there was
QL.
a Oracle guy
Oracle.
there. Is that something we're going to try to do?
So Dom,
I
do
feel
you,
like we should.
as for the list of speakers from last year, like, is somebody going to try to contact them?
I think somebody needs to.
So how does that,
Someone I would love to bring back, the guy who did the DevOps talk.
I would love to see some of those. The simulation guy was really good.
So can we get from Mike information on emails he used?
I think we might have that already.
We already have it? Okay.
Yeah, Alan was the simulation project guy. He was good, and he
Yeah.
gave away free stuff.
And
Yeah.
half of us were on his email list anyway.
Yeah, I've been following it too.
So,
They
I like the Oracle guy.
do we
He was
wanna
cool.
try, I'm sorry,
It's okay.
do we wanna try to just set up a couple of tracks and then place our speakers where we think they'd be?
I think as a bare minimum 3 tracks,
Yeah, that's what I.
and then grow out and longer if need
Well, you know, with Make ICT involved, I really think we should do, and just suggestion, it'd be cool if we had a track for Internet of Things.
On a side note, I have all the speakers and all that they did. Do we want to write down who we'd like to bring back? Or do we just want to email everyone except him?
I would say that maybe the best route there is to convene a committee, a speaker committee, and that group of people can vet that list and maybe do recruitment for other speakers as well.
I'm cool being on the speaker committee. I just don't want to be the only one.
I'd
Yeah.
like to be on speaker.
Awesome.
Unless everybody in this room right now wants to do it right now, then let's do it right now. But I don't know if we need to use everybody's time to do
Right.
that. I feel like that could be more effective in a smaller group.
I'll join your speaker vetting committee.
So we got 3.
So,
I mean, I'd like to, but I've never been to a Linux Fest.
That's fine. You don't have
So?
to. You don't have to.
All right, cool.
As long as you can, as long as you can send emails. And,
what
Yeah.
sounds good? Who sounds good? Who's got good credentials?
I got a few good ideas of people that weren't there last year that I would like to talk to. Like I have a cousin that's a paleontologist, and he uses all open source software to scan 3D images of dinosaur bones and reconstruct
That'd
them.
be really awesome.
So I think he could probably give an awesome talk.
Can you bring dinosaur bones?
I think he probably would, but I don't know. I can't.
Can we get his 3D prints and dinosaur bones if you can't bring the real ones?
I bet he does both. I don't know.
So I have Joel, Ben,
Can you
Chase,
write down
and
your
Nicholas
email
for
address?
the speaker committee. That sound good? Okay.
Yeah, Tom, if you want to be part of this, or I see someone else's head in the back who has.
Jerry.
Jerry, do you
yeah.
want to
He pops in every once in a while.
feel free to.
So I'm just going to interject real quick. The CAC Theater is open on the 21st, but and it can accommodate 484 people. However, I cannot make any reservations during the weekends, so that would be a special accommodation.
I'll email the guys I know and see what they can tell me about
I know
that space and how that reservation process works.
What
The online reservation system doesn't allow me to reserve
Oh,
the
okay.
CAC on weekends.
Is it Nicholas? Is that right?
Yeah, or Nikki G.
G.
So like Kenny.
Is that your rapper name?
Yeah, I actually got an acting class. My acting degree.
We had a whole discussion of rapper names one night at dinner.
Nice.
Reminds me of Kevin G off of Mean Girls.
Yes!
I was in high school. My sisters forced me to watch it.
It's a good movie, man.
I'm still trying
Can
to
we watch
force
it
them to
tonight?
watch it.
Can we watch
It's seriously.
It's worth watching?
Yeah.
It really is.
It's one of those things that like, stupid.
Yeah.
But let's
But
watch it.
it's so funny.
Now, anytime somebody's like, hey, you want to watch Mean Girls? I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
We were peak on Wednesdays.
And this guy.
So the speakers mailing list, how do we
Do you want a mailing list for that?
I don't know.
You have one, I thought.
I
do.
You have
There's
a
an
forward.
email.
Well, an email that they can mail into. So.
Okay, yeah, that's accurate. I don't know if you wanted a mailing list, but
It'll probably be a Google group or something.
I don't think you need to make.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah. We'll just.
I think once we start recruiting speakers, you'll have some speakers that you recruit, Ben will have some that he recruits.
Yeah.
I won't do anything, but I'll be a member of the group, and we'll all know what these speakers are, and we'll communicate with our group about it.
Yep.
Can I just check the speaker committee are also the ones who are doing the scheduling of speakers, or is that going to end up going back to the full?
I think that should be back to the full.
Okay.
I think maybe we'll throw out a loose outline because just as they come in, I mean we have to write it down. We have to start trying to kind of juggling. So and we'll bring a loose outline back to the group and
No.
to finalize. I think is a smart way to handle it. But just as we get people penciled in, we'll have to write it down somewhere. So we'll start an outline.
Let me get. I need to get your guys' emails.
What time is it? Okay.
About 10:07.
Okay.
And then I will disappear about 15.
Okay.
That was good timing so far.
So we're good on speakers. So anybody that has an idea of somebody they want to be a speaker, do we just tell them to like, if they're not going to go out and try to do it themselves, but they have a good idea, do they just send it to the speaker email address?
I would say go to
And we can choose whether we
speakers at
should pursue it or not.
kansaslandsfest.org, or if you want to, if you're in the administrators portal, just make a new topic for it.
We have grad students, when they have to get some kind of presentation in one of the classes, why can't you use it for this? Have a topic that you-
If it's good enough.
If it's
yeah.
good enough.
That's good enough, yeah.
And if it's related to Linux, and the problem is that most of our grad students are Linux based.
What about, tell them all the speakers though?
Few, and I think he was. There's one in particular he thinks would be good.
Cherry pick,
Yeah.
cherry pick out of them.
Yeah.
Fulfill their.
I think we'll get at least one, maybe two. We'll see.
And in India, I think would be great.
I think I already mentioned something to an India, and he seemed excited.
So I want to get Mark Harrison's.
I think Mark for sure would want to do something.
That's not student.
And then I don't know. Once we get penciling stuff in,
We also want to preserve enough slots that we can get people from outside of Wichita. Like,
right.
we had,
Yeah.
there were a bunch of people from the Lawrence, Kansas City area, and it would be awesome.
The
for
dude
some of
with
them
the
to come
phone
back. Well,
hacking
if
for
they
sure.
come back, they're gonna bring their friends,
Yep.
you know? So,
We should also look further down south at Oklahoma and see if
I
anyone
agree.
in Oklahoma is interested. Isn't there the equivalent of WuLUG or Make ICT in one of the?
I think
The
there's several.
equivalent of
layers.
Dev ICT, only their group is huge. Yeah.
So maybe
I'll talk to
someone
Seth
want
in the morning.
stretch,
Yeah.
stretch down to
Report all this to the dev guys.
I'll pop in.
And tell them about the volunteers
Yep.
list for the ones that haven't been
Yep.
involved yet, if they want to be involved in some way.
I'll set that up on a.
And then I'll
Yeah.
pop in on the IRC channel, or I'll just go to the website. I'll just go to the website, mail what I get tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'll update the website to have the volunteers link. So.
Tom, do you want to do your Emacs at all?
Everybody's desperate for it.
I'm really sad that
I
I missed
missed it. We were both sick.
it. We were really sick. It was- Ugh.
It was bad.
I'm sad I missed it, but I'm glad that you covered for me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right.
Okay, what were you doing?
So on from speakers. Do we want to mention swag really quick? What do we
That's
got?
part
What
of.
do we-
Let's just move on to sponsors. That's gonna be part of that.
In the
Kind-
morning.
Well, I think this is
I,
particularly the swag we got, right?
Yeah, specifically,
okay.
yeah, just real quick, we got a bucket of t-shirts,
so
they say Lawrence on
there's,
them from last year.
a bunch
They're
of
at the
web
makerspace,
developers
I'd like to
and
start selling them to start raising at least a little bit of money, I just need to
programmers
know
and
how
stuff.
much.
So you're
I
gonna
should
try to
sell them.
recruit
so do we have an idea from
Yeah.
Mike if that's?
And I'm also
already
gonna try and
been
recruit somebody who can.
We're not
go
inheriting
out,
bits, are we?
throws
Well, that's what I
content
mean, like,
at
I
the
think it would be in
website.
bad taste if we don't, if he put that out of his own money.
And then
he
I've
sold
got a
it,
lot of
that's a
other
good question.
contacts
So-
that I can reach out to.
Am I wrong in that respect?
No, I think that's right.
If he's still $200
I'm
in the
still
hole,
playing
and he sells
catch up with
$300
trying to
for
get
a t-shirt, shouldn't we
things
give him his
situated
$200
at
back?
my
Yeah,
house.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
I'll shoot him a message
I'm
and
gonna
find out
do what I
about that.
can,
Find
it's
out
just,
if-
I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
So that'll.
And do we have any idea of what they sold for last year?
Once I get things.
Let's find that
How
out.
many do we
I'll
have?
be able
Were
to-
they donation?
I'll be just.
No,
be able to
no,
look
they
at
were-
They
like
were 10 or
some
15.
last minute things.
Yeah,
That's-
they were given to speakers for free and then sold to anyone who wanted
What's your
them.
name?
How many do we have?
Chris Weekly.
I did not count them.
I'm
There's a
guessing
tote
that's what I
about
wrote like that.
yay,
It's W-E-A-K-L-Y.
and it's full.
Full, completely. So
Yeah.
a lot.
I mean, they could be all triple XLs, so there's like 7 of them. But
Maybe
I
that's the
honestly
problem.
don't know.
So you're gonna go through them, aren't you? Or you're gonna have some people go through them?
Yeah,
It'd be good to
yeah.
know
Before I put them out in the case, yeah, I'll go through them.
the quantity.
You mentioned also knowing a printing company that maybe help us with t-shirts for this.
Swiss logo.
US logo, yeah.
How complex would it be to set up a payment system on our site?
I have no experience in
Using
it, so
PayPal or something?
I have no idea.
Seth might.
You're shaking your head. I'm just
You might ask.
I
You
don't
might ask.
I don't
Seth.
think we wanna.
Seth is normally at Code and Coffee in the morning, so.
Because I was just thinking you
That's where
could,
Seth
you could
is.
sell the old swag through the new website.
Yeah.
Do you want to donate to the new
You'd have to use a merchant
festival,
service to
buy one
charge
of the
for
ones
it.
from last year, use your PayPal account and we'll ship it to you. or
Yeah,
something.
because in 25 years, when you still have like the very first T-shirt, that's gonna mean something.
I know we'd have to go through a merchant service.
Every
But there's
every
no-
15 years, the
there's no
BSD
year
site sells all the boxes.
And even if we use PayPal, we have to
Yeah, but
we have to
you'll
pay
know.
PayPal
You'll be
right,
like,
for
"You were
a lump
there?"
sum of money
Right.
to
And the other
Well, but-
would be to set it up on eBay or something similar.
Well,
Uh,
still,
but
anytime it's through PayPal, you still have to pay PayPal to transfer money out of it.
Well, that's going to be anybody paying online. There's no way you can sell a product online.
That's what I'm saying. You have to use some kind of merchant service.
So no matter what the route is, there's going to be a service fee. If we're going to do anything other than trade cash.
It's just, I don't think very many people come to make unless you sell them at Make ICT,
Right.
8 type of days or something. You're not
But if there's that many that
I'll
that
talk
would
with
be nice,
Seth, but
I'll-
personally I have no experience with merchant services.
talk to Seth. see what he
Integrated
says.
on the website.
And if he's shy of it, then we probably all are.
Either that or just get a link up with eBay and have a link saying, buy this from our eBay listing.
Well, who did the game jam and the startup weekend website? And they all had free
Set, right?
payments. or
Actually, it
whatever.
was
It's all
Make
set.
ICT did the game jam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Startup Weekend was through Eventbrite, and actually the Startup Weekend parent company, national organization, handles all of those payments.
Oh really?
But Game Jam was done through Make ICT. We have the infrastructure in place to handle that. And we could do it. Yeah, I guess that's an option. We could do it through Make ICT.
Are there reservations about doing it like that?
Well, mostly just that I'd probably be the one to send it out.
So it's a lot of work, yeah.
And the other thing is if you're looking at sponsorship and donations and things, you're going to want to set up some kind of digital input system anyway.
Yeah.
I would think at least have a donate button.
So PayPal seems to be the easiest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For
Well,
that,
how
how hard
about-
is it to set up a PayPal account for an organization like this?
What's
Has anyone ever done this?
Does this organization have a bank account?
Yeah, I tried that.
Well, it's through
KLF does not.
it's through Make ICT, right?
So yeah, Make ICT is going to be the nonprofit fiscal sponsor for the Kansas City Fest 2016.
Bernie Sanders
And beyond.
uses a separate.
Well, unless we get something set up otherwise for
When
next
I
year.
give
Yeah,
this
like
to-
a separate entity.
It's almost no point until it looks like it's huge.
I wondered if we shouldn't have a track that would let, because I'm gonna see if I can drive some business interest. Because I know guys who work at NetApp and guys who work at,
So
I'll look
let's
at
get
what's
into
the, what's
sponsors.
the
I'll look into PayPal.
company downtown?
I'll see what it takes to get a PayPal account.
So
And-
setting up a PayPal business account, all you need is an email address
Okay.
and a bank account. That's it. And anybody who has a PayPal account, like you can convert it to a business account right now. It's pretty simple. There's not
Is
really
it
anything
possible
do
to use the Make ICT account in that?
Mhm.
I'd rather not use my personal.
Yeah, if we use the Make ICT's payment infrastructure, that's already tied into our PayPal account.
Okay.
The other couple of alternatives would be A, Kickstarter, rather than going through PayPal.
We talked about that
We
last
could do
meeting.
Kickstarter or
Mhm.
something like that. The other thing is WuLUG has, through WSU, we have a checking account that's all done through WSU's payment system. So So rather, if you didn't want to use Make ICT.
Well, the thing is that if we use Make ICTs and people are paying directly to that, it's easier for us to get a record of that, generate a tax receipt.
And we will be severely limited to the WSU route. There's lots of stipulations and rules.
Make ICT is probably better.
I was
So yeah,
thinking,
you could look at Kickstarter instead of just
Yeah, my only concern about Kickstarter actually uses Amazon. So you'd have to set up an Amazon payments account with that. And the problem with, maybe it's not a problem, but one of the challenges with Kickstarter is that if you set a goal, if you don't meet your goal, you don't get your money.
Well, how about, what's the other one that's similar?
Indiegogo and GoFundMe.
GoFundMe, that one you still get the money out.
Yeah, both of those, like there's no, well, I think both of those, there's no deadline and whatever you raise is what you get.
The other one is Patreon, but that's usually a kind of regular thing. rather
Yeah.
than
Content
one-off
delivery.
Yeah, Patreon.
Sponsors. We kind of modeled this off of
Couple things.
the quick start thing.
Startup.
Startup.
I looked into a few others to basically get an idea of what booth costs should be. This is pretty much all the same. They all do about the same.
Are the numbers about the same?
Yeah, a lot of people do a $100 one. I don't know if it's gonna be worth it to us because we don't have enough stuff.
What
to
do they
offer.
offer for $100?
A booth is what it came down to, and that was my original intention, was to find out how much we should charge for booths. That was kind of
Well, but these aren't necessarily booths, are they?
no, it's not. I'm just last
Okay.
time we talked.
Okay.
My goal was to find out what we should charge for a booth separately, and no one did. No one really charges separately for a booth. It's
I see.
only if you sponsor do you get a booth.
Really?
It's built into the sponsorship package.
Hmm.
So basically, they offer
So
a
you-
$100 package and you get a booth with it, and then you get your name on the sponsor wall.
$500 seems like a steep buy-in for if we want to attract people to have booths.
Right.
So that's why they had the $100.
Yeah. So do we add another level, $100? It's just a booth.
And that's and that's
Call it sponsored.
Now, just to check with you, you've got tickets.
we need to talk about that too. That's
Does that
still,
mean we're charging membership tickets?
we hadn't discussed it yet, but that was just a rough over from last meeting that I put in. So this is a copy and paste.
What do we?
There's something here that doesn't make sense. The booth spaces, it says here, you get booth space,
Yep.
but what about the other ones?
No,
Well-
that's what we're talking about right now. So when we put this together last time, you only got booth space if you're a premier sponsor.
Yeah.
Or you paid $100 for a booth.
Or separately, you could buy booth space separately.
Right. But if you gave that much, we just keep it.
You could probably do that for the gold package as well.
Possibly.
Yeah. That's not bad.
I think our thing was that we wanted to give somewhat of an incentive to the $5,000.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So tickets. Let's talk about tickets.
Yeah,
Is this something that you buy tickets for,
No,
or is this something you just?
I looked around.
I don't think people will show up if it's not.
Hello.
Oh, I don't want to interrupt, is this, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all right.
rest
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I looked around at a lot of other festivals, and there was only a handful that actually charged. And it was things like Northwest Linux Fest. They were giant ones in New York and stuff.
Yeah.
And I imagine they had to charge because the venue was outrageous.
I agree. And as I remember from the last time, I don't think anybody was in favor of
Yeah.
having
I
actual
mean,
tickets.
I would have paid $5 or $10 to go, but
So,
I just don't think that you'd have the,
I think we should.
so
focus
can we
that-
set up? Can we set up just like a registration on the website
yes.
where it is a ticket but it's free, but
Yeah.
at least we got a head count.
Exactly.
But that means that you then lose
Right.
that. So
That
you-
wasn't-
And I think we knew that when we wrote it down.
Yeah, that wasn't a huge make or break. So.
Hey, Dominic, do we have numbers at all from last year on like what their fundraising was?
I don't have any of that
Can we,
kind of data.
when you reach out to Mike?
I
ask him
can
for
try,
that?
yeah. I'll just throw that into the t-shirt email.
Right. Well, because here's why I'm saying this. Maybe if all they raised last year was $5,000,
Yeah.
we don't need tiers like this, or we don't need that much money. If we're able to do this at WSU for very little cost. What do we need all this money for?
Well, the idea would be, the more money we can get, then we can bring in speakers.
Right, I get
We
that.
can fly people in and get them a hotel.
What's up?
And we could maybe pay our event organizers.
Yes.
And you might want to think of expenses like audio-visual equipment. I know somebody bought a whole bunch of GoPro clones last year to try to record the whole thing, and they were not up to the task. They were clear in the back of the hall, and they couldn't get any audio or not. As I understand, what video they had wasn't worth looking at. So.
That would be useful for a budget if we had money to buy some nice cameras. See that for sure.
I think if we could get people to pay us $5,000, we shouldn't turn it down.
No,
I agree.
I 100% agree, but
What about the
I think people can afford to probably pay 100. I don't know if 500 is a starting point. So.
Well, this is more business
Well,
type thing.
we're thinking business sponsors is what we're thinking
Oh,
for
okay.
this.
We were talking about PayPal or something
For people just to have a booth, like if they're gonna be a vendor, just $100.
Right. Well, there's a lot of people that have like, a student and then a sponsor. So if somebody's got a job and can afford to pay some money in, but I think 500 would run a lot of people off. But not people wanting to, have a big or any kind of presence, but somebody wants to say, well, I've got some money, I can afford to pay some.
Yeah.
So do you think, should we just put like a thing?
Well,
How can we handle donations under $500?
Choose your own adventure.
That could work.
How are we going to set that up?
Would you not read those Choose Your Own Adventure books when you were kids? Like if you want to attack the dragon,
yeah.
17. I didn't move my thumb. It doesn't count.
I have an idea. What if, for attending, the ticket is free, but if you want to attend and have a meal, then,
Well, and that might be a
$8
thing, if we do it here on
extra.
campus, and that might be a thing anyway, if we get a special meal a special meal rate from the cafeteria
If we
for
can
lunch.
if we can get a meal rate,
Then-
we can sell that ticket for a few dollars more.
Could we do meal tickets? Is that even a thing built into any of this? Is that even an option down there?
That's something we would have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some questions.
I was just trying to think of another revenue stream.
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
I don't know.
It depends if the
Money.
business.
I've got to run away.
Okay.
Just one thing for me for sponsorship. If you're doing it on campus, you've got NIA, you've got NetApp. There's also all of the companies that we have contracts with, CWD /D and things like that. There's a couple of places that we could start.
Nice.
Yep,
Good call.
I like it.
Take it easy.
Bye, Ben.
Let me know if you end up not doing it.
So, these were basically the things that we hung out there to try to get the businesses that could potentially afford that to actually talk
Yeah.
about it.
I feel like this is the time to fine tune this though.
Right.
And I'll change it on the website.
This probably needs to be set in stone today.
Yeah, I'll change it on the website to whatever we decide tonight.
So-
basically.
how do you know
My
what
thought.
to set this to if you don't know how much money we need?
Well, I don't know. How are we gonna know how much money we're gonna need anyways? Like,
That's why I was.
we don't know
asking
what our
if
speakers
Dominic
are
could
yet,
tell
and we
us
don't know
I
what
don't
they
know what
did last
speakers
year.
are,
Yeah.
sponsors.
That's my
We're
only.
gonna
Yeah.
do that
I mean,
yet.
We want as much money as we can raise so that we can
Absolutely.
get as many speakers as we want and fly people out and stuff
What
like that.
if we approached the companies that are here and pick their brain on maybe somebody they would want to bring in to be a speaker and say, well, it's going to cost us this much, and then see if you can get them to fund. Because then it's a win-win, because we want to bring the speaker, they want to see the speaker.
I've actually looked around on
The only
Linux
thing is at what point is it different than just saying, please give us money
3,000.
and we're gonna organize speakers?
Because it's something they want to do.
I have no idea what it is.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If they want if they have wanted to hear somebody talk about something that they are passionate about, and we have the interest in the venue for it,
Then after that.
Well,
I'm just throwing it out there.
If we have to rent audio
I'm just trying to
and
figure out ways that are
I don't
in
know
a
that
non-traditional way.
there's a cost analysis.
I've never done this before.
Do you have a list of,
Right, so then,
companies in Wichita who use Linux in-house?
We don't have a complete list. We kind of brainstormed a
If we go
few
over this year, we can always use it next year.
last time we met,
To pick a better venue or something.
but anything you want to add to that list? Certainly, yeah.
well, we can always,
Position to know.
We'll have, when we're settled with the website, we're settled with the sponsorship packages, we're gonna put out a press release that'll include a call for sponsors and a call for speakers.
But that's part of why we kind of got to firm this up now.
Yeah.
So we can get started on these things.
Are we happy with this, with the tiered pricing? We discussed this last meeting, I know.
The actual dollar amount?
The
or
dollar
tiers?
amounts. The dollar amounts are pretty on par with most other conventions
I
I've
like the
done.
dollar amounts.
The only thing that
Plus, we know they worked in Wichita for another event.
a
So.
lot of other conventions cap out at about $3,000. And we're sitting at $5,000. I know it's. We talked about it as in if they're gonna pay $3,000, all of these businesses are just gonna pay $5,000 anyways because it's a tax write-off. Boom. They don't. Right. But yeah, I just noticed that most people capped out at about 3,000. Otherwise.
Do we leave it where we have it?
I'm fine with it. I think it's good.
So my only two questions on this, and I like it. My only two questions are, how do we handle donations under 500? We don't want to turn them away. Obviously, we're not going
Do
to.
we need to offer them an incentive, or is this gonna be out of their own goodwill?
I would say under $100 and less, or under 500.
But they're giving $100, give them a t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, we could throw in a T-shirt for
A T-shirt
And
and
a
then
ticket.
anything
their
between.
name on the website on a list of thank you sponsors.
Yeah, no charging for tickets, so,
So what
the
if we-
tickets are going to go away.
Oh,
What if the bronze was your $100 or everything, anything below $500 was your bronze, silver's 500 and above, gold is 1,000 and above, and platinum is 2,500.
Just gotta reorganize that a bit.
Well,
Do we do that, or do we just add a little thing in there that says, any donation over $25, you get a T-shirt? Or, we gotta figure out what we're gonna sell shirts for, a T-shirt or a hat.
Well, it's gonna be.
And then throw a T-shirt in for those two.
Or a sticker, what's cheaper? That's real low.
A magnet, a fridge magnet.
Yeah.
I just want there to be a method for people that aren't in this category, just the random people that want to support it to make sure there's one next year, that are willing to drop $50 or $100.
Yeah.
I just want them to be able to.
Who's gonna wear the penguin suit?
And I want it to be obvious that we want
are you
them.
talking about businesses or individuals?
Individual.
Mainly individuals, but there's gonna be a lot of businesses in that area too, though. There's a lot of businesses that aren't gonna drop $500, but they'll write us a $100 check.
I think it's my opinion that if an individual donates money up to over $25 or something, or whatever, they should have the ability to have their email list for individuals.
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
website, regardless.
So the companies, when they're paying more, they're buying a logo on the website, not a name.
I personally don't see a problem with acknowledging all of the donors if they wish to be acknowledged. Like,
Over a
business is
certain
like,
amount.
yeah, if business gives you a couple $100, it doesn't cost us anything to put their name on their
true.
website, right? Is there a problem with that?
Other than having to manually add it to the website, I mean, I don't know.
But
I will look into maybe an automated method of doing this, but it may not be worth the time to get it done. So, I would say $50. I would manually add their name to the website for $50.
You think that it's worth
So-
your time for $50?
Yeah.
Okay, so
So anything $50 and over, T-shirt and name on a website.
$50 should pay for a T-shirt.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, you can think about getting rid of last year's T-shirts that way, since they all say Lord's Kansas.
Well,
We didn't
I
specify.
think we're
which
trying
ones
to,
you paint.
they're going to sell those separate before.
Is that something? I mean, we haven't priced T-shirts yet either, though.
Right, but we know it's going to be under.
T-shirts are gonna cost that. No, I realize, yeah.
Does that sound, you look like you're thinking, Dominic.
Oh, always.
You just scratch off the
Or
lawn.
possibly never.
Yeah. Put an iron on patch over it.
Yeah, can't buy.
Going slow, girl comes.
All right. So were we back to changing this list, or are we leaving this list? And then just adding a note on the bottom, maybe?
Let's leave it and then have it open for any other donations, let's say.
And then if we find a way to take on money, then just a link to donation. Okay. And then there's a second question I had about this besides the 100. I can't remember what it was.
Who's working the sponsor groups? Is there a group of people that are gonna work sponsors, or are we all
I don't think we have a committee as of right now.
Do we need a sponsorship committee?
Yeah.
It sounds like it.
We do. So,
I nominate Seth because he's not here.
you are now on the
He honestly
sponsor
wouldn't be
committee.
affected to that, but I don't know what his capacity
It
is.
seems like Seth's alley, but he's not here. Should we call him? Tell him you just got nominated as you accept.
He'll
Just send him an email.
There you go. Yeah. Make sure you put in the minutes that Seth got nominated for head of the sponsorship committee.
I mean, I'll be on it as far as managing the donations part of it.
And
I'll try
we
and get all
should,
that set up.
we should hopefully, otherwise this is gonna suck really bad, but we should take on several more volunteers as this goes on.
Yeah.
We should,
100%.
our planning group should grow some.
What about-
Once we have a date in place and stuff starts rolling, I think we'll get some interest from other places.
Yep.
And once we kind of maybe know who donated last year to the Lawrence group, maybe
Yeah.
we can reach out to those people, and maybe we reach out to those companies again. And they had a rack space there last year.
Yep.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And a number of places that were.
And I honestly feel like we can reach out to more national type
Absolutely.
companies.
I was gonna ask that.
I don't feel too bad about blanketing national companies.
Well,
Maybe we get
Cybertron's
something-
here.
Yeah.
Cybertron PC's here.
Yeah.
And they were at the esports convention. They had a huge booth.
Really.
Well,
That'd be
yeah, they're
awesome
trying to
if
become
they
more
did one
local.
last
Yeah, they
time.
actually loaned all of the hardware.
Yeah, man, they might even be able to learn some computers. And we can do the whole, Steam is on, Linux now.
Yeah, they can do a Linux
And I
gaming
mean, just
thing.
kind of spin it,
maybe.
Yeah. They would give away computers.
What if we, you know how we're always talking about call for speakers or call for papers, not call for projects. People like to see,
Fair style.
Kind of like what they
Things.
did what did they do last year in that room down there? They had a problem on a web server and
Oh yeah, they
who
did.
was that? Was that
Who was that
Rackspace?
group? We need to
That was
find.
Rackspace.
Was that Rackspace? That's all the more reason to call Rackspace.
They'll
That's
come.
right.
They had a
They did the
competition
competition.
of fixing a web server.
You guys did it, I didn't.
I didn't do it.
I actually didn't.
Somebody was
Alec-
telling us about it though.
Alec
Somebody-
did it.
Alec did it. Alec and Tim
Yeah.
That's right.
did it.
but I'm just thinking with the, with the adoption of things like Raspberry Pi and Arduino and how people are utilizing that and, with, everything, 3D printing, the whole thing. I think it'd be one thing to listen to somebody speak on something, another thing for somebody to actually show something off that's using open source software.
Well, hopefully most of our lectures do that, but
I'm just saying.
yeah, no, I see what
It's a
you're
good
doing.
idea.
Yeah.
Especially if you have somebody from the company that sells those items, your parents would come and see that.
Yeah.
That's
You come out and speak about that for.
Yeah.
We really need to have something on the home hobbyist level, which I think we did a really good job last year of splitting between that and the enterprise level. I went to Ohio Linux Fest last month, and
I was just looking
if you look at their schedule, it is like 90% of what I would term as enterprise level stuff, even in what they call early pigment.
Did that get kind of boring?
Well, since I'm not using Linux in the enterprise, a lot of that stuff I would like to have a better handle on, but they were starting at a level, where they were talking above me. So
And this is kind of what Alan mentioned earlier too.
Yeah.
is like dividing it up between high level and more the normal user.
Beginner.
And,
Like in
and
the
often-
time slots, have some beginner
Mhm.
things and also the advanced things. That way people can choose.
The call for projects would really help to sell the innovation part of what WSU is trying to do. And it would really spur an interest in entrepreneurship, which is, to me, I've seen it followed by the wayside for.
What kind of projects do you think we'll get?
Well, as long as
That's
it,
what I wonder.
well,
Call for projects, you have 3 people that bring their servers. and do
open
cool
how about
things.
open source projects or Linux projects? You know, Linux projects. That way
Nope.
nobody brings a Windows box and goes, look what this, you know.
Right.
We don't need a Bill Gates mode where it just falls on its face. Unless you want to.
I 95 might be working on something, and they're gonna have on display at, this weekend anyway, I think, down there at Pleasure Place.
Really?
What's
So
happening?
what about projects
Maybe
being
they
part of
submit
like
it or not, but
the vendor booths?
Look at it.
I mean, are we gonna have like fair style? Do we picture that?
All I'm saying is if you want to push entrepreneurship and innovation, which is what WSU is leaning towards, I really think it would also show off our city and our college in terms of a hotbed that's not been fully utilized or tapped yet.
It all depends if we get the people for it, though. Yeah. If we get a good projects group together, would it be something that we would offer rooms for? Would that be a?
Or are we thinking like tables out in the hall?
Well, I mean, I'm on 2 big projects right now. Like the guy Shay, we're building the flying cell phone tower. We're going to Austin, Texas in December to go showcase it to the government.
Would you rather have that being a speaker thing?
Or like
I mean, it's up to you
that would
guys.
be
I think he means
better.
like projects being like hands-on stuff.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
not hands-on. I'm talking about demonstration projects.
well, that's what most
Yeah.
of the speakers. I think
Yeah, that's
would
what most of the
be.
speaker
Yeah.
yeah, the speaker opportunities would be.
If somebody's got a good like demonstration to do, they're a speaker.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have a demonstration if we get this thing to work tonight, because if not, I might chuck it against the wall. I'm like, I'm here with this thing.
Starting over.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we'd be glad to do that. And also, I'm with the WISE socket. So WISE and I, the guy who's named after, he's a computer scientist, and we're moving along pretty well with that. And that has to do with meshing and wireless networking and stuff like that. And it's all open source. So, for the most part, so cool. We're down for that too.
I'm just trying to think of longevity and really kind of something that really showcases what we're trying to accomplish here, and that is make Wichita, an untapped resource for, everything from entrepreneurship, startups, companies that are looking to expand somewhere and don't realize the talent that's in the city.
Yeah, I think those are noble and important goals. I don't know if those are goals of this though.
Well,
Yeah.
not this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go full blown with it. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I think
we'll just get
between
it started.
speakers, I think
That's
between
good.
speakers doing demonstrations and then between vendors like having like booths, I think that covers.
I think the
Pretty much.
speakers would definitely cover it.
pretty
If they
much
have a
all
great project they want to talk about, then we'll get them in there.
that.
Question, has this group handled a fest like this before?
Yeah. Well, there was the first Kansas Linux Fest, but it was run by different people who handed it off to us.
So you have a footprint or blueprint, or is
The
this?
tiny one,
You're
Yeah.
putting it
Yeah.
together on the fly?
kind of.
What is your expected outcome of this?
Do you mean like people-wise, or what do you
Yeah,
mean?
people and sponsors, you're gonna have.
Honestly, I'm expecting
I'd like to
200
see 200
people,
Yeah.
and
You talking?
maybe a couple dozen, like,
Can we capture these goals in the minutes?
does a couple dozen sponsors sound?
Yeah.
I don't think
I
200
think-
people's crazy.
I think a couple dozen and 200 people.
Are you talking exhibitors or sponsors that's putting on workshops, or who you would?
Well,
tend to draw?
Sponsors,
I don't
I'm
think we'll-
thinking people coughing up cash.
Attendees.
We probably won't have too many workshops. Mostly just speakers.
Yes, speakers and a handful of workshops is what I envision.
Yeah. Some workshops would be nice.
So mostly lecture style, mostly like lecture/demonstrations.
A lot like what we do here, basically, just on
Yeah.
a kind of a larger scale.
Yeah, more formal than what we do here, but. The first one in Lawrence, to give you an idea, there was a few I think paid speakers that came in. There was like a guy from Twitter. There's a guy from MySQL. They did good. And then there was others that I'm sure they got compensated to some degree, but they probably weren't necessarily paid. And they had a lot of, I mean, it was kind of all over the board. There's a guy that hacked cell phones. There's a lot of DevOps people that talked about if you're monitoring and controlling an IT group that's accomplishing some task, here's kind of how we bring ourselves together and build tools to help us do what we need to do. They had some JavaScript programmers talking about like JavaScript stuff. It kind of went all the way from hardware to software and all over. But they were all lecture style.
What kind of attendees do you have? Students, professionals?
Anybody.
All over the board.
We had a lot.
All over the board.
Beautiful people, ugly people.
Old people?
Men,
Fat,
women.
skinny.
If you identify high school students, you get high school students to come.
That's true.
And
Well, part of the problem last year is they held it during spring break, which didn't make any of the colleges happy because
Didn't make anybody
everybody was gone, and I think that probably affected the high schools too.
Getting high school is
We were shooting for May 20th, just after finals,
Yeah, just after the last.
and actually just before Riverfest.
Yeah, between Riverfest and finals. So school's out, but people are here for the summer, ready to go. That's the idea.
What's left on your list?
What's left on the list?
I don't know if we can add this to it, but we need to talk about the logo. If we're gonna get a shirt and stuff.
I'm looking at Ohio. They
Yeah.
have some very impressive people come there.
Yep.
Right at the top, HP.
Well,
Yep.
They did have good swag.
They got Google,
It's good to know.
Fusion Storm, Dell, IBM.
Yep.
Are
What?
you
So, well, I think
expecting to
what
bring these
kind of what
out?
we talked about here a little bit earlier is that we want some like that, but we don't want to focus on that kind of level completely. We want to focus on that level and the lower, like homebrew level.
I know
We want a good
Mike,
mix of the two.
Mike told me he did it last year was, he looked at all the speaker list from all the Linux fests and then cherry picked people that are from the Midwest so they wouldn't have to come very far.
Yeah.
And that's who he called first.
And then also some of those bigger name speakers is also going to depend on how much money we raise and what kind of sponsors we find.
There's a lot of places, I think Rackspace, they'll come, you know.
I think Rackspace is definitely on our list.
I think,
I think Cybertron comes in.
Yeah, I think Cybertron is definitely going to be one. It'll be interesting to see what we get. I think it'll be easy though.
I think Oracle, they'll come at a drop of a hat. That's
good.
Yeah.
Who's going to be your salesperson to go out and put these people into it?
I thought we agreed we were making it committee.
We are going to make a committee.
We have a sponsorship committee, and a speakers committee.
We're going to put out a public announcement now that things are going to be firmed up more. And then from there, when the inquiries come in and as we go out and get people, which will be us to begin with, but there's going to be a committee that does just that.
But it'll start with the press release.
Are we going to do social media?
I think we have to, unfortunately.
We need
Would
to
it
do
be too
Facebook.
ugly to have a penguin throwing a rock through a window?
Do we?
I'm
Too
just
violent.
saying.
Through a Windows logo? though?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Windows Festival.
Yeah, Linux is good enough that it stands on its own without
Doesn't
having
need
to
other
bash.
That's right.
Logos.
It doesn't need to be compared to
I,
anybody.
the only reason I say that is because I hate UEFI.
Yeah, but that's not a Windows
So do I.
thing, so.
Well, I think Microsoft drove that.
Well, they certainly did.
Yes. So,
Do we have anyone that's a graphics designer or know someone that would be a graphics
We
designer?
really
Yes,
need to find
I know.
volunteering
I
to do something like
Yeah.
that.
I will talk to probably 6 or 8, depending on who's there tomorrow morning.
Honestly,
Graphics
that's
designers.
one post on the Slack, and
Good.
yeah, we'll
That's
have
what we
some.
need.
Yeah, we need some big graphics.
So,
and if they want to do anything else on the website too, like,
Yeah.
so are you going to do that?
Yes.
Can you log that in the minutes as a to-do for him?
Thanks.
I already have it.
Cool.
Put his name on it though, that way.
Yeah.
I do.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Nice. Well done. All right. We pretty much much gone through our list. Vendors we talked about amongst all the others, kind of. How's our time?
We got 20 minutes? 10
We
minutes.
still got a computer to play with over there.
10 or 15 minutes.
Please.
I think we should.
I still have
God.
one question.
Yes.
Do I get one more?
Use as many as you want.
Is this group here part of a larger group?
Yes.
So we're part of a Kansas?
We're part of Make ICT and Dev ICT are also
So-
in this with us.
So
Yeah.
there was a guy named Mike that started this last year. And Mike, I don't know if he got a job or if he moved out of
Yeah,
state.
he moved out of state.
So he's got to pass this torch on for somebody else to run. And a group of us through Make ICT started the inquiry to him of like, hey, we want to bring this to Wichita. So he said, cool, I'll pass everything on to you guys. So it became a joint effort between Make ICT, Dev ICT, and WuLUG, and whoever else around Wichita that wants to help to push this forward. So we've got our basics in place, and I think we've firmed up some of the things that were holding us back from really pushing forward, and now we're going to push forward as hard as we can until the event. So it is a larger community around Wichita that's carrying this on, not just the people here.
It just so happens to be, it was time to have a meeting and there was a WuLUG meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
they all-
It just fit to be part of the WuLUG meeting.
So you've got chapters throughout the state?
No.
No, there's
Not
not like
yet.
a Linux chapter, but like that.
The Lawrence
There could
people.
be. I mean,
yeah, the,
once we start reaching out, now that we firm this up, we want those people to come help us.
Yes.
As far as I can ascertain, I'm the only Linux user in the state of Kansas west of Wichita.
I got some servers out there, but
So do
for
I.
users, I don't know.
So when's our next meeting? Are we done with the
Thursday?
We should set a next Kansas
No, we
Linux Fest
can't have,
meeting.
we can't have a meeting next Thursday.
3 weeks seem to be workable. 2? Does it need every 2?
I think two. I think we should bring it down. I think we've had a lot to talk about, and
Yeah. Okay.
we need to get a lot of stuff completed at this point.
2 weeks from now, another Kansas Linux Fest meeting.
What do we want done by then?
I think that we need to find graphic designers and content editors.
Yeah, actually, can you just go through the minutes there and any to-dos that we identified throughout the meeting? Can you just read them out loud?
So far I have, so this is kind of disorganized right now.
That's how we
But-
talked about it.
Yeah. Ben needs to talk to EECS, Joel CAC, let's see here. Ben, reach out to WSU for the venue. Let's see. Speaker committee, we got that, Joel, Ben, Chase, Nicholas. Chris, recruit speakers, and somebody do content for website and web design. Let's see, Nathan, PayPal account, that sort of thing.
So am I the only one on the speaker?
No.
No.
Okay, I'm just.
You're just talking to Dev ICT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seth also on the payment system thing, and Nathan's got to do the after they figure out the PayPal's and such. Put the little thing on the sponsors website that they can make a
The
donation.
donate button.
Donate. What's
Yeah.
the donation?
Yeah. And we have sponsors committee, Seth and Nathan.
Yeah, I feel like we need more sponsors, committee people.
We do, but we need to bring in more people.
Yeah, we need to get some
Yeah.
volunteers.
I think once we start solidifying, we'll be able to bring that
Yep.
pool a little bit.
That's about the to-do so far.
Okay, I'm gonna add a couple to that. One of them,
Okay.
for Nathan actually, for the website, we need to add we have 2 speakers already, right, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're gonna, I'm sorry, I forgot
Nicholas.
your name.
Yeah,
Nicholas.
yeah,
Nikki
so-
G.
Nikki G, man.
G.
Yeah.
So we need to add 2 people to the speakers list, and I think go ahead and put Make ICT, Dev ICT, and WuLUG on the sponsors list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we need to get your email address?
We got
so
it.
You can
Yeah.
maybe do a short.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll get those emails and I'll bring them into the email boards as well. So you guys all get the same.
There's some group right now, we haven't done anything.
You're on the administrative mailing list, but you're not set to receive forwards from the KansasLinuxText.org
Yeah.
address.
So I can give it to,
Yeah, and if
Oh,
anybody
yeah,
is not on the administrative mailing list and wants to be, let me know and I'll add you right
Actually-
now.
Is that his email?
Yes.
If you're done
Is
with
that the same as the Google form?
You're on it, yeah.
To Julia, right, or something? It's like push it on the speakers.
And as far as finances, I don't know if it's been mentioned, I'm pretty sure Mike DuPont set up a nonprofit. They got
I think he
tax
was
ID
working on
code.
He was working on it, I don't think he ever did.
Never
Yeah.
finished.
But we are working under
I got-
Make ICT, which is a nonprofit.
Yeah, and I got,
Oh, okay.
We have all the benefits of nonprofit.
Okay, so you got a way to handle the money and all that stuff
Yep.
without, great.
Yep, it's already in place and they're just donating their structure for our use. So it makes it easy.
So Don, you're also gonna reach out to Mike about the finance stuff?
Already did.
last year? Already did?
Yep.
And then when you hear back, you'll post to the mailing list. That included the sponsorship list?
yeah, I asked him for everything that he had.
All the documents.
Like,
I asked for a
this is
social
everything
security
you
number,
have.
name.
And is the full speaker list already on the forum?
I think it's on the
I think it's on the
website
old
still.
website, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what Ben was looking at earlier.
Okay, do they have contact info?
The old website's still active.
I mean, we can find contact info. Right.
And because we're gonna use .org, I don't think
Well,
they'll ever
let's,
take
as
these
our
guys down.
speaker group, go through that list and figure out who we want, and then we'll figure out how to reach out to them. Does that sound okay to you?
Yep.
Any questions? Questions?
No questions? Meeting. All in favor, say aye.
I
Alright.